Hi everyone, welcome to Data Appreciation with Shina, and we'll be doing a Google Code Lab on Design to Code with Antigravity and Stitch MCP. So, what is Stitch, first of all? So, Google Stitch is used to generate high fidelity user interfaces, and then we'll be connecting it to Antigravity. So, Antigravity is an agentic IDE, and we're using the Model Context Protocol MCP to connect them. So this is my first time at this. It was just released by the Google team in March 24 of 2026. That's about 2 weeks ago. And it's written by someone called Hash Datini, probably a Googler. Let's see. So, so let's go through the instructions. So what we'll do here is we'll generate a user interface in Stitch. We use natural language to create a full-scale web design in Google Sketch. We'll bridge with MCP, so we'll connect Antigravity to Stitch project using MCP, and autonomous implementation will use Antigravity's agent tab to fetch design tokens and scaffold a React Tailwind project. We'll verify and refine, and we'll use the integrated browser to check the code again against the original design. So this is what we'll be learning from this: how to use Stitch to rapidly prototype high fidelity user interface designs, how to configure MCP servers within the Antigravity IDE, and how to use autonomous agents to translate visual design metadata into modular code. So what we need is Chrome web browser and an Antigravity IDE installed, a Google Stitch account, a Stitch API key, Node.js version 18 plus installed locally. So I installed one recently, but I'm not sure if it's 18 or probably I skipped it. So we'll check along the line. So let's go to Node.js. Let's see, opening the, oh, that's 1 second. New tab to the right. Let's copy the link. No problem. Where we have the challenge. I think we're having a challenge with Node.js not coming up. So now, before we begin, in the Google Cloud Console, in the project selector, we'll select a project or we'll create a project. So let's open this link in a new tab. So first of all, let's just go to a new tab to the right, Cloud Console. So on Google Cloud Console, let's look at our project. We'll just pick something that has to do with codelab, and we know we have billing enabled on the project. So I already have my project codelab 01, and I believe there's billing enabled on it. So let's just check. Let's check billing. So I now have billing enabled on my account. So on this account, I have billing enabled. So let's just stick to my codelab 01. So secondly, for cloud credits to use Antigravity, redeem your free cloud credits. So let's see if we still have cloud credits on this. Log in with your Google account tied to your cloud. So no cloud credits on this. So let's navigate to Stitch and we'll log in. So let's start up Antigravity. Antigravity is up and running. So let's go back, log into Stitch. Okay, so I've logged into Stitch. So let's go back. So let's try Node.js again. I know I have installed it recently. If there may be a problem with Node.js. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. If I have a problem with link, so I think it's node.js.org. Or they have it as node.js. So I think there's a problem with link, so we can make that report a mistake. Report something here. So let's say the link to node. Yes, seems not to be correct. Then we'll copy the. This is the correct link. So let's go and make this comment. And we say create. So I think let's just go back with that report. So next, what we'll do is to go to the next. We already have anti-gravity running. So the agent needs a visual source of truth to follow. So before we write our code, we must define the aesthetic. So let's access the platform. We'll navigate to Stitch, which we have done already right here. Stitch.google.com. Let's close this for now. Then on the main dashboard, we locate the Start a New Design toggle. We click the web to ensure our design is optimized for browser-based layout. We choose our model. So from drop down, it should be showing Flash 3.0, which is what we have here. Next, inside the prompt box, we ensure Gemini 3 selected for the most advanced reasoning. Okay, so let's go. Now thinking with 3.1 Pro, that's Gemini 3.1 Pro, maximum quality. Okay, so next we would describe our vision. In the text label, describe your design, enter your prompt. So this is the prompt we're giving. So let's read out the prompt. Design a modern SaaS landing page for a space tech startup called Launchpad. Use a midnight blue and neon purple palette. Include a hero section with a get started button, a three-column features grid, a glass morphism price table. Generate, click the arrow icon next to the model selector to begin generation process. Refine and name to the sixth. Once the UI is generated, give your project a name in the header. So, okay, I think this is where the prompt starts and ends. So let's copy our prompt. I think this should have been separated, but I think the design team just needed to get everything into this one page. So we would once we paste the prompt, we click generate, begin generation process. We refine our name. Once the UI is generated, we give the project a name in the top header. We call it Launchpad, and we can use the chat server to refine any specific element before moving into the IDE. So let's go to Stitch, put in our prompt. I just want to just make this a bit larger. So we have 3.1 Pro thinking, then we generate. So we have app and web. So I think we're required to make it a web. Remember, it's a web. So click web to ensure your design is optimized for browser web app. So clicking web for browser support. So let's click go. So Stitch is generating our SaaS product with our midnight blue and neon purple palette. That get started button and glass morphism pricing table. So you can see it's giving us information here. Let's start by building a custom design system with that midnight blue and neon purple palette. Then I will design the full landing page, including the hero featuring grid and glass morphism pricing table. So now it's mapping out the components for us. Okay, so I had wanted to move this aside, so it just has this Figma feel. While it's working, you can pan around and see it. You can also see agent log right here, and in mine is having the generation our screen, which is our landing. So we'll let it finish before we make any edits. As I told you, we pan while it's busy. So you can see our customer facing pricing table. Okay. So basically what the team here is trying to do is see that you can put together a product and from customer facing end, you have Stitch holding the fort and you have your anti-gravity holding the fort of the back end. Let's see. So just what we know, we'll refine it. If we have to, we'll call it launchpad at the header. So we'll just copy this. So we can use the chat bar to refine any specific elements. So let's see chat bar is. So the set chat bar is at the side. I think this is the chat bar. They're designing the UI for us already. So let's go to the next stage. Can I come back to this? So we are asked to configure Antigravity MCP. So to allow Antigravity agent to read our design, we must generate a secure API key and add the Stitch MCP server. So these are the steps to generate the API key. In Google Stitch, click the profile picture at the top right corner. We'll select Stitch settings from the drop-down menu. We navigate to the API key section, click create key, we copy the key, copy generated key immediately and store it securely. We'll need it for the next step. Okay, so let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's wait for this to finish so we don't have interrupting our landing page generation. So this is interesting because all this is in the past we call it CGI. So I think this is still CGI in 2026, but now it's AI. So I think our landing page complete. So we have a chart on the side where we could chat with it. Okay, so you can see what would you like to change or create. So let's see. Let's go back to where we have our instruction. Let's go to the previous page. So we're told to give our project a name in the top header. We call it Launchpad. So let's look for the top header. So this is touch. So we call it Launchpad. Okay. So okay, no, I think this is Launchpad. So let's undo what we did here. I think what we had here was landing page. So I think this is our project name, Launchpad. So next, we have the colors. We're not doing a direct edit. We want it to edit it for us. So you can see the tertiary here. It looks like cyan. Let's see what we can change. So let's change the launch mission button to glass. Let's say change the launch mission button to glass. Let's say glass. Yeah, let's say glass morphism. Let's see what's yes, glass morphism. So let me change this to glass. So it's created it so it knows what we're talking about. It's now crafting it. So what time I'll just to make I'll do that additional correction. So let's go to select stitch settings, navigate to the API section, create key, and copy the key. Stitch settings. So we go and create key and we copy the key. So it's cutting our key for us, just like you do when you go and get your key, it's cutting our key. So once it cuts our key, we copy our key. So you said the key has been created, so we copy our key. Let's go back to our profile. Okay, so this this was the before. They're still doing this for us. Now, so what we're going to do now is we configure the Stitch MCP in Antigravity. We open Antigravity, we open the Agent Manager. At any point, we can toggle between the Agent Manager and the editor by hitting the Command E on Mac or Control E on Windows. So let's go to Antigravity. So we're in Agent Manager. So let's Control Plus. So click pause for the open a workspace. So let's start a new conversation. Better select the desired workspace or starting conversation tab and hit the plus button next to workspace. So let's do that. Let's create a new workspace for it. So that's a new conversation. Want a new workspace. Okay, so let's do it with so that's going to be Stitch MCP. That's a new folder. Antigravity and Stitch. MC. So let's create this. So we open the folder. So we didn't it in Antigravity and Stitch MCP. And next, so we open a new workspace. So click on the open workspace, new workspace, name the workspace Launchpad Project. So they wanted us to name it Launchpad Project. So let's just go back and name it Launchpad Project. So let's let's call it Launchpad Project. So you remember to use the proper naming. So next we've selected local directory to ensure that agent specific root folder our files without clutching other projects, which we've done that already. So now go to configure this Stitch MCP. Within our workspace, we go to Agent Manager and select MCP servers. Select the MCP store where this drop down. Let's go to MCP. supposed to be somewhere here. We have so we're trying to get where we have the MCP server settings. Within your workspace, go to Agent Manager and select MCP servers. Agents, customization, MCP servers. Okay, so I just remembered we're supposed to have 1 second. Okay, it's right here. So it's not on the Agent Manager window, it's on the editor window. So I think that's another thing I'll have to put out, that the MCP servers is on the editor window and not on the Agent Manager window. So, so I think that's another observation. Oh, so you can see where they made a mistake. Here they wrote go back to the Agent Manager and servers. So, but then they said open the MCP store where the drop down at the editor's agent pane. So they're correct, but they made the wrong direction. So MCP servers. So next, Antigravity supports MCP protocol, a standard that allows editors to securely connect to your local tools, database, and external services. This integration provides the AI with real-time context beyond browser editors. I want to confirm if I had installed Node.js. So I just want to confirm if I've installed the most recent Node.js. Just a sec. Let's run it before we go ahead, so we don't have a conflict along the line. So let's just read up the documentation here. So this integration provides the AI with real-time context beyond just files and open in your editor. MCP acts as a bridge between Antigravity and Google Stitch. Instead of manually exporting designs, tokens, or copying hex codes and layout metadata into your editor, MCP allows Antigravity to fetch the design DNA directly from Stitch where needed. So we just run this. It's Node.js 24 is okay. I don't have a recent one, but let's just go with it. So we have it installed. Okay. So let's go back to our documentation. Now, MCP acts as the bridge between Antigravity and Stitch. Instead of manually exporting design tokens or copying hex codes and layout metadata into editor, MCP allows Antigravity to fetch the design DNA directly. So we said that. So we search for Stitch and click on install. When prompted, we paste the Stitch API key into the configuration field. So verify. So in the agent chat, type list my Stitch project. If it returns Launchpad, then we're ready. So let's see. So let's go. So we search here for Stitch. STIE. So we click on install. So it says Stitch API key, which we have. Actually, saving the config. So it's doing that for us. So wait for it to complete. So it's enabled. So now we're going to do the verification. So we'll go to the agent, will type in this information, list my Stitch projects. It's more like verification, confirmation. So let's go back to agent. Then we'll say Control V, list my Stitch project. So now it's connecting to our Stitch account. So it has seen our Stitch project, which is Launchpad, which is ID. So we have one Stitch project currently available, which is this. So it has seen our Stitch project. Even though you give it an error, using previous version for BigQuery error, unable to pass through the configuration. So okay, so let's so give us our answer, but we're having a BigQuery error. So let's go back here. So in the internet type, so not bad the bridge. So now we know that our bridge is successfully configured. So our key is working properly. So we got just the project ID, but for theirs they got the ID, the type, and the date created. So let's continue. So now we want to fetch design context. The agent now needs to ingest the design metadata. So let's go back to see what Stitch has for us. So it has completed all we need. So this is with glass map using buttons. Okay. So I think we should just keep one of them. So we don't want any confusion, so we can just keep one of them. Try edit, delete. Okay. So now let's go back. So use the Stitch MCP to fetch the Launchpad project, extract the color palette typography, and then generate a design.markdown file in my root directory. So this is our next prompt for Antigravity. Then we'll review the newly created markdown file design to see the hex codes and layout rules the agent has extracted. So let's give it our next prompt. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I love it. Let the chat with. So let's go next. generating our markdown file, it has successfully fetched the project using the stitch, extracted the color palette and details, and generated the design in our root directory. So now we have it in our root directory. So the file includes the orbital ligand design system, encompassing the celestial observer, creating direction. And so let's go to our markdown file. So we can look at it through this part or through our editor. So let's look at it through the editor. We have typography, we have the glass gradient rule, we have the no line rule, we have the design tokens. So now let's go back to our agent manager and close this. So when we close this, we would now go back to our guide, the implementation, and the build. We'll use the agent to translate the design into a working React application. Now we'll give our build prompt. We want to build a full website now. We want it to use React and Tailwind. We want to ensure the components are modular. Once finished, it will run the dev server and show it in the integrated browser. So this is what we do step one. We're going to do this now in step one. So let's go over gravity. So we really don't want to do any changes, so let's give it our next prompt. So we set it to review, so it's asking us we would like to create. Let's run it. So running our background command. So anything you don't know about, you can ask it in the chat, or you take a search online for it. Let us put up our implementation plan. So it says I've put together an implementation plan for the build. Before I execute it, I'd like to review it. But let me know your thoughts on the following questions. Are there any specific text, logos, or hero imagery you'd like me to feature? Should I use standard JavaScript, React, or TypeScript in the setup? Is it okay to scaffold the project directly within your Launchpad directly, or do you prefer subdirectory like client or front end? So I think what we have here says show the comments are modular. So let's tell it to, since it's an agent, we don't have any particular text copy, we don't have particular logos, we don't have any particular hero imagery. Um, so let us use the standard JavaScript, React, or prefer TypeScript. So let's see what we have here. So we wanted to use React and Tailwind. We wanted to use the both of them. The JavaScript. Let's say to use the standard JavaScript. Just Ctrl C, V, Shift Enter. Then the second question which you wanted to do is it okay to scaffold the project directly within, or do you prefer subdirectory? So let's scaffold the project within our directory. Or let's give it let's give it tell it to make it subdirected. So say I do prefer subdirectory for my project. Let's continue. This agentics is asking us and we're giving it our responses. So, but here it said it is coupled the project and terminal. So let's write the components when previewing. Okay, so maximums now to create the front end, install tailwind, yes. So while it's going on, and it's almost done. Wow, we have agent automated. I hope it doesn't because I used the Gemini 3 Pro. So we know where we started. So let us start a new conversation. So I just expected I would end this. So I'll just make this part one and I'll start it in a new conversation for Launchpad and proceed it in the part two of this video. Thank you very much.